out. He had to leave today, so. I asked him, I said, usually, most of the times, officers have served for 2 years at a time, and I asked him if he wanted to serve another year as president, and he said if the council was willing and wanted him, he said he would do it. So at this time, we'll have nominations for chairman.
Well, one time we talked about passing that around instead of leaving it the same guy all the time. I'd like to nominate John Murad.
I'll accept the nomination to make sure that they are aware that I will be missing 2 meetings, February and March. So the vice chairman would have to step in at that point.
Okay.
Well, I'll second that nomination.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, those in favor of John as chairman, raise your right hand. Those opposed? John, you're the new chairman, so you take over. That's it, right here's an empty chair if you want to be down here by Jana where you can.
You worked that out slick. Yeah, you need to be there.
Oh, well, John can take over, and take care of that one. So you need to get a vice chair then?
Yes. I think now we'll take any proposals or nominations for a vice chairman.
I'll nominate Bill.
I'll second that.
We have a nomination and a second. Any discussion? All those members of council in favor signify by raising your right hand. Those opposed, the same. Bill, you didn't hold your hand up.
Yes, I did. Just not very high.
So, with that on it, Brandon, we'll bring you up first.
Okay, happy New Year to everyone, and nice to be with the new members. Brandon Forster, County Highway Engineer. I passed out a couple of quotes. We are in need, not want, need of a new chip spreader. I've talked with some of you about this. The unit that we have now is 1974 at Nair, and it broke down twice this last year. Fortunately, our mechanic at the time had arranged that we had a spare rear end on property, and so we made it through the season with that unit, and it technically is a working unit right now, but it's 1974, it's been rebuilt 15, 20 years ago. We just needed a new chip spreader. Kevin and I had went and looked at a used one, thinking if the one that we've got's 40 years old, if we can get one that's 15 years old, we can get some use out of it. And when we arrived, the belt was shredded, laying on the ground, and they all to present to us for sale because there was no cooling fan. Run it long enough to build up pressure. We both had.
What kind of price were they asking for that again?
They wanted $84,000, and it was a 2000, so it was 16 years old at the time.
Was that with a contractor or was it a government entity?
It was a contractor, yeah, it was in Raleigh, North Carolina.
You know, it'd been used hard.
Well, yeah, it had been used, definitely. And we looked at another one that was in 2003. We didn't look at it. We saw it online. They wanted $150,000 for it. 13 years old. We just said, we might as well just bite the bullet, buy a new unit.
Well, as long as they last, I think that's the thing to do is buy new.
Well, you've got money in your budget by not doing some other things, do you?
That's why I'm here. First meeting of the year, I'm here to ask for more money. We have $200,000 budgeted for equipment. This is crucial to our operations to have a reliable working chip spreader. That's what we do. Yes, sir.
I need you, and I got a good idea, but I want you to educate me. Tell me what this piece of equipment is and what it does for you.
Absolutely. The vast majority of our roads are chip seal roads.
Okay.
We have a distributor, which is a big tank with spray nozzles that sprays liquid asphalt on the road, and then the chip spreader follows it and drops limestone, number 11 or number 9 limestone, and that's chip seal. It's the sealing asphalt with chips on top of it, and that's, like I say, the vast majority of our roads. So this piece of equipment, being newer, it's all computer controlled, it's a variable width, so we can do this all in one pass. As we did it last year, we spray liquid and chip seal, and then we back up and go do it again. Our distributor, we can go 24 foot, and if we get this equipment, we can go up to 24 foot. We can do it all in one pass.
They basically only use it half as much.
Yeah, and to be cautious, we overlap it on the center line, which is not wasting material, but it's using material you don't have to. Here will be one uniform coat. So it's the distributor and the chip spreader are the two pieces of equipment other than trucks hauling stone that main pieces of equipment for chip sealing.
Does ours have any value much at all, or salvage value, or what is it?
Good point.
Well, scrap prices are down, and the likelihood of someone having another piece of equipment that old that would need parts is probably, slim. You could certainly get hooked up with there's a lot of internet auction sites, that's where we've looked at other used equipment.
If you could get 20,000, that'd be better than scrap.
Yeah, if I could get 20,000, I would be jumping for joy.
So would we.
Because I would be surprised if we could get 6 for it, to be honest.
But still, that's better than scrap.
Oh, well, yeah.
I've got a question for George. You've been involved in this. Did you have any recommendations as to where the funds would come rather than general fund?
Well, I think Brandon has the funds available, they just have to be transferred.
Yeah.
So we'll take any new funds.
And what I'm looking at is, we've got specs, we're gonna advertise for bids, and open bids at the first February commissioner meeting. There's 90 to 120 days out on getting it delivered, so, if we could award the bid first week of February, then we could be, June before we get delivery, that's time, we're gonna need some training and some practice with new equipment, and then that'll get us going about middle of June, which is normal time to get started, so. There's no immediate rush. I mean, we don't have to do it in this time frame, but basically I'm coming to kind of get a nod. I want to believe that there's going to be enough money that we could just do an additional appropriation, but I'm dead set that we need this bad enough that even if we, then we'll just cut back on something else.
How many miles did you chip and seal this past year?
Well, we double sealed 22 miles. Those were the roads that had been milled the year before. So you could kind of count that as 44 miles. And then we single sealed an additional 40 miles. So basically,
With the new machine, then, would you do more than that, or will you run out of money to do it?
well, we could do more than what we have money. We're planning on 100, we're looking at a plan to do 100 miles.
Is that your need right now, or is that what your estimation is?
The 100 miles?
Yeah.
Well, it's an estimation right now. We have to, there's another funding mechanism, the Community Crossings Grant Program, that we can get a match on funds from the state. But in order to do that, we have to have a asset management plan. Highways, and in order to have an ASER rating. So we have to rate every segment of road from 1 to 10, propose a treatment, and then come up with a plan. So between now and spring, Kevin Alexander and I will be looking at a segment of road and coming up with a plan of, do we need to do 80 miles, do we need to do 100 miles? And that's what we did this last fall. We looked at some of the worst roads based on what the guys told us and narrowed it down to that 40 miles that we single sealed. So we'll be doing that again.
Well, the 84 miles that you did do last year, is that reflective of the equipment or the time that you had to do it or the money that you had available or a combination of everything?
It was money available, and understanding, hopefully you understand it was my first time. We could have done more miles because at the end of the year on our cash page, we had 428,000, if I remember correct. So, technically we could have spent a little more money, and we had money in our budget, but trying to be conservative and not run things in the red.
If the legislature provides some funding, additional funding for roads, would that start July 1st for us to receive money, or would that be on a calendar year before you'd receive any funds from that?
Well, the way they did it last year was after the legislature was over, they did basically a call for projects, and that was where everybody was mad scramble to get their asset management plans either completed or submitted and approved, and with projects, and they didn't actually start awarding money for projects until like August or even into September. So I've been told that that's probably the way it's going to happen again this year. So basically, if we submit our plan, apply for a project, the funding really will be basically for next year. Additional monies, just general revenue that's going to be coming to us, but we haven't seen that yet. So that's kind of what I'm hoping, that some of that additional revenue that we can do an additional for this equipment, and then still get, give or take 100 miles.
Couldn't you transfer within your budget to get that additional money? And then if you run short, then come back for an additional appropriation?
We certainly could.
Well, that way you
Absolutely.
might get some state money to fill the gap and you wouldn't have to come back.
Yeah. And right now, we're kind of in limbo because the state hasn't approved our budget yet.
Yeah.
Officially. So what is it, 1782? Okay, we don't have a 1782, so Jana can't calculate the, additional or excessive funds. So that's why I'm not asking for an additional at this time. But whether we ask for an additional or transfer money, we can make it work one way or another, and
Projecting out, do you have any other equipment needs that you're going to have to go through for 2017? I notice there's also a Kubota tractor loader within this packet.
we have, well, the most important thing, and this is my opinion or bias or fact, that the truth is what you believe. The most important thing to road maintenance is drainage. That's my statement, and we have been using a skid loader to do what we call berming, and that's between the edges of the road get beat down, and then when we add salt or sand, it builds up the edges, and then that edge is built up and it holds water on the road, and then the water leaks through the cracks, and it gets into the subgrade, and it freezes and thaws and turns to mud, and that's where you get potholes and failed roads. So what we've been trying to do as much as we can is we take that skid loader out and we cut them berms down. So the water can get off, hopefully into the ditch if there's a ditch. We can cut some ditches too, but That is working really well. Twice as much done. We really should be berming these roads before we chip seal them, because once you chip seal them, now you gotta stay off of them for a while until everything gets good and seeded. And in the meantime, if water's standing, it's just, this is not a good thing, so.
Well,
That's our proposal, is to,
If you, with a skid loader, when you do it that way, you use one last piece of equipment to,
yeah. Well, in the past, and I'm going back 15 years, the way it was done at that point in time was with a grader, and they would grade it up onto the road and then use a loader or a backhoe to pick it up off the road and put it in the trucks. Well, one time,
You got an agenda?
because I remember this, that they got caught with their pants down. They had a dirt on the road, and it just torrential downpour and made a huge muddy mess, and there was a citizen that complained, and it was just terrible. So we're kind of one step, we scoop it up, throw it in the truck. It's worked really well.
Mr.
So
Chair.
that's, I would, yes. With the two proposals, we'd be looking at, whether it's an additional or a transfer, $130,000.
Mr. Chair. Commissioners have provided a favorable pass for both of these pieces of equipment also yesterday.
Yeah. And we do have sufficient funding within your budget at this point?
I'm gonna say yes. I mean, and that, again, we don't have that 72, we don't have the budget approved. It's,
Okay. On the map that shows like what part in the process we're in, we are in budget review right now. So I would say by the end of I would say definitely by the end of the month, we should have those 1782 notices.
okay.
So, if you would like, I can get everything ready to advertise for an additional appropriation, and then that way it's all ready for the February meeting if you guys choose to approve it and choose to do so. So you
I
can go
think
that
I'd rather
route.
see it transfer it within the budget, and then if you run short, come back for it.
And I agree with you.
Okay.
Do you want just a consensus of this, or we need a motion on it?
Is it advertised?
It's not advertised yet.
Are these,
It's not been advertised.
are these, George, are these quotes the best ones that came in, or the only ones that we got, or?
Brandon has checked different places and with the specification, let me send, he's got the specifications that he's asking and sending out on that.
Yeah. And this is the only response that you received back?
Well, no, these are just for budget purposes,
Okay.
basically. The southeastern quote for the chipper, there's only, that we're aware of, there's only 3 manufacturers of chip spreaders in the country. One does not offer a variable width. The other is, other than the southeastern is quoting a Ketnire, which is like the standard. The other one is in Arizona. It is variable width, but they're in Arizona.
Would you like
And
any of those?
according to their
I'm
website,
good.
there's no, well, they don't give any information as far as how to find a distributor locally. If I was the county attorney, I could argue this is a special purchase, it's special equipment, it's a very specialized piece of equipment, and based on our needs, we could just purchase this outright from Ketnire. But, so that we're covered, we're gonna advertise for bids, we're gonna take bids, and
Just not that many people that make that type of equipment is the
yeah.
issue.
And whether you're talking about something like this, or, fuel, or whatever, liquid asphalt, certain distributors have territories, Contact sells their pipe to us through, not come to you now, it used to be Depco.
Depco, yeah.
Yeah, Depco was their distributor, so exclusivity.
One of the questions I have, I see on your specs, you have a Cummins 6-cylinder engine spec'd, if I read that right. And does that not limit you to who can bid on it or not?
Well, 12 to 24 variable width limits who can bid on it. That is a spec for, what we're saying we need. If someone had an alternative, they could certainly, provide an alternative.
Well, yeah, the reason that I asked that question is like if you ask for a dump truck, for example, and you ask for a Mack Hydrodyne engine, well, you pretty much locked yourself into who's gonna get the bid.
Right.
That's why I asked
I
that.
don't think we're asking for a specific engine, are we?
Yeah, what I see on there it is.
Cummins six-cylinder,
Yeah.
turbocharged diesel engine.
Yeah, okay. Well, we would much rather there be nice distribution of competitive bids, get the best price. I would much prefer that. Between upstairs and down here, we do bids and quotes for all kinds of projects.
I think you can advertise it, that or the engine or comparable.
Equivalent.
See what you get.
Yeah.
If you're sharing with us that there's only even 2 possibilities in the United States, would you have time to reach out to that, do some more homework and reach out to that other company between now and February for at least for them to tell you, hey, we're not interested in your business, or hey, we can't do that?
And the company the third company that doesn't offer the variable width, we did already reach out to them and just to make sure that they didn't offer that option. So, yeah, without a doubt.
I would be more comfortable with the fact of the number, just knowing that it's not something that somebody's shooting you because,
Well, to make you hopefully feel better, the state of Ohio does a bid for with, and their prices that they gave to the state are actually higher than this price that we're looking at.
Well, I'm gonna say something in defense of this. You guys, I know you come in here and you're looking at the very first thing you're gonna get a chance to make a decision on is more than $250,000, and it's kind of mind-boggling, but you're gonna find out, and I think George will back me up, you're gonna get calls about these roads, and it's gonna be the major thing that you're gonna hear from, is
Oh, yeah.
gonna be
Oh,
road
yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that far and away is the thing that taxpayers are concerned about. These machines, the one we have now last, how old is it?
It's a 74.
So see, these things last quite a while, and like, I think we need to make every effort we can to work on these roads and get as much done as we can, and there's gonna be times that we're gonna have to spend some money to do that. And this chip and sealer, how are you gonna chip and seal roads if you don't have something? And this price seems high, and I like for you to get bids as much as you can, as much as you can. I know some things are easier to bid than others, but when you give the price what they wanted for these used ones,
Yeah.
and a piece of junk, basically,
Right.
that's not much more for a brand-new one.
And if you figure, if we can get, let's say we can get 20 years out of this piece of equipment, you're 1,000 and change a year on a $3 million a year budget, I mean, that's pennies. And then also, last year, we bought 2 new tandem dump trucks, and they were $200,000 fees, so it's not cheap down the highway.
Jim, I agree with everything you said about
You
that.
guys need to look at, the quote he's got, the distributors in Fort Wayne, and you get parts in Fort Wayne compared to Arizona.
Right.
That's a good point.
They do
That's a good point.
technical support, repair support, training, they're there for us. We've done a lot of business with Southeastern in the past.
Brandon, what do you wish from the council today?
I would say a nod saying that, yeah, whether it's an additional or finding money in the budget, that we'll support this purchase. Because I'm gonna need at least call it $65,000 from somewhere. That's just for the chip spreader. I need $65,000. If I need to, we can find that in the budget. If we see that the revenue is there, then, we can ask for an additional, but Either way, that's what I'm asking for, is that you'll support at least that much. We'd also like to hit the spring running with a second skid loader so we can get some more berming done too. So I would certainly accept,
Well, we have to have something, so I'll give you a nod, yes.
Good.
Second that if that's a motion.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, if
Go
you
ahead.
want a motion, I don't know whether you want
Let's
just.
put it in a
consensus
motion,
or
it'll be official. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second. Any
Yeah,
additional?
have
Bill?
We have to have it.
Yeah. Any additional discussion in reference to it?
Well, Brandon, did you say you was going to still do some checking on between now and next month, if there's any other avenues to purchase this other than through Southeastern? Did you?
yeah, I'll check with that. Bearcat is the company out in Arizona. They've got contact information. We'll let them know what we're looking at. And, I mean, if they've got somebody in the area that, that we can count on to, as far as service and
Yeah,
everything.
I think that's very important to you've got a service to refer back to
Right.
locally, or reasonably close anyway.
Also, it's kind of nice, and from my perspective, to know if you have some kind of an idea about how well people like the product.
Well, and, I mean, this is this very specialized piece of equipment. If you've only got 3 manufacturers in the country, that says something. And for one, if you buy it and it lasts for 20 years, there's not a lot of people buying them. So it is a specialized market. And it doesn't matter what kind of, if you've got a specialized market, usually there's someone who is the standard, the leader, and it is Etnire is the standard for chip spreaders.
Did you ask them who has purchased these recently somewhere that you could call them and ask how they like it and how it works?
I haven't. Well, they told us, I'm pretty sure Kosciuszko just got one, and Allen County just got
Well,
one.
it'd be easy to check on then, see how they like it.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Those opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Okay, thank you very much.
Anything else, Brandon?
I don't have anything else. Anybody got any questions for me, or?
Good luck in 2017.
Good?
Yes.
Yeah,
We've
thank you.
grilled you pretty well.
I think it'll be all right. I really do.
Sheriff Gatton, we need to get you back to work.
By all means.
Thank you, Senor. Cold. Thank you, Senor.
Yeah.
What I handed you to you, sorry I haven't been over before that, but this is arose kind of quickly. This deals with the generator that runs the jail fuel tank that's out back buried behind the facility. There were 2 separate tests, right, Sean, that didn't pass, and George, I believe, received a letter from IDEM on the.
Yeah, I just-
Okay, they have that. We reached out to a couple different vendors. The only one that has contacted us back would be the one that's in front of you, and their bid price to put a new 1,000-gallon double wall tank in and attach everything and seal the driveway or the parking lot back up back there is $46,163 with on the front page with a contingency that there's no contaminated soil around the tank.
Yeah. Well, if it's leaking, guess what?
We haven't been, it hasn't been confirmed, it's an anoid rod that's not keeping up with what kind of test, Sean? Please talk to the guy.
What they do to check the surface of the tank is they have an anode that is plunked into the ground, and they have to get some sort of electrical reading off that anode. And the number is below what IDEM requires a safe measure, that it's not maybe protecting the tank as well as it is. I don't feel that the tank is, this is just within the last couple of years that it's been low. So I don't feel that the tank is probably rotted, it's just the choice is we add more anodes for around $5,000, which doesn't guarantee that it's even gonna read
Or as a, one that they thought might work better is an
Impress current system.
current system, that's over 15,000, and they said there's no guarantee that's gonna bring your number down.
Along with what he's presenting, George has received from the IDEM, a violation letter dated December the 12th, reading on down through on it. Within 30 days of receipt of this letter, you have to notify them what steps you're going to take to correct the situation. Is that correct, George? Yes.
Well, we can't very well wait till it leaks. That figure would go out of sight.
Yeah, it could be a tremendous figure
The
compared
current
to,
tank's a 2,000 gallon, we're downsizing because of the amount of time we can run off a 1,000 gallon tank. We've looked into options, and we got back of converting the generator over, but we don't believe that's a good option to natural gas.
Are we going to put another underground tank in or above ground?
Another underground, because it's double wall, and if we did it above, we have to build its own structure.
With the proximity of the tank to the building, it has to be a fire guard tank, which has to be encased in concrete. And just that tank alone is roughly $50,000 for just the tank, not including removing the tank that's there.
Where will
Filling that
I was
hole
just,
back in.
I was thinking like what we got out, out here to the tank farm out here for highway use and whatnot. You don't have to worry about contaminating ground and all this because you'll have your own containment, for the above ground in case it leaks. Underground tanks are noted for maintenance from time to time. And if you have a spill in the ground, you got a major problem.
You know anything about the quality of the tank compared to the one we currently got?
The one that is on this quote is a fiberglass. I'm not sure, is the one we have now steel, Sean?
The tank we have now is a steel tank. The one that's quoted is a fiberglass double wall tank. If there's a leak, there's a second layer of protection. Require all the monitoring.
That's
that we do
good.
now with the steel tank,
That's good.
so it reduces some of it, and some of the cost is reduced because when they pull that tank out of the hole, they're putting another hole back, that tank in the hole to refill.
Is this a job that Widener or Moyer could do or not?
I haven't got a hold of any of Wygen's, but I don't believe they.
Well, I've seen them and I've seen Moyer do this at filling stations before.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't know whether they do that anymore because maybe they don't want liability. I mean, I don't know, but I have seen them do that before.
Well, we went with the company, we asked 2 different companies to come in. This is the only one that received a quote back because we've used them and they're the ones that have taken care of the tank before.
where will the new tank go, Mark, in relationship to where it's at now?
It's the same hole.
It says the new tank cannot be set in the same location as the old tank.
That's not what where are you getting that from?
About halfway down. The new tank cannot be set in the same location as the old tank because of setback codes from the building.
Oh, I think it has to be moved, Laura, I think it has to be moved 5 feet
So-
back from the wall.
So
It's gonna be
about
the-
the same location
About
to
the
make
same
the hole
location, but
bigger.
I think it's a 5-foot
Move it.
But
difference.
they're gonna do something, put a bigger hole to get in and out easier than what we have right now that we have to cut.
So essentially it'd be in the same place, just further away from the
Right
building.
out back, we're about where the old gas tank was years ago.
The commissioners have a recommendation with this, George.
we had a favorable pass for this.
Favorable pass.
I think at this time, cume cap equipment, we have $75,000. Total cume cap is $369,000. So I would recommend that we come to cume cap.
To determine if the ground's contaminated, they don't determine that, IDEM does, is that correct?
That's the way I've been told that. They'll be there to monitor the job. That's my only fear is not telling them. I told Sean, we need to get over here and get by this week, so we don't get a fine.
Entertain a motion in reference to this.
Where will the money come from, Jenna?
I agree with George. I think it should come out of cume cap. I mean, it's a capital purchase, so.
I'd move we approve it. this bid.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second on it. We have any additional discussion?
But you said you was gonna try to get other quotes yet too, maybe, possibly, or not?
I can, but we need to tell IDEM we're moving forward with the new tank this week.
Yeah.
I talked with Mark Sturdivant, he didn't know of anybody else that did this. He didn't have any other ideas on the generator switch over either, so I felt like I'd exhausted with Mark's knowledge and Sean and mine. I didn't feel like we had anybody further. I did reach out to another company, I don't want to badmouth them, they just didn't get back with me.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion?
Just one other question. Would this company work with a local excavating company to do this?
Sean talked with Jack, I don't know if that was ever brought
I
up.
believe gasoline equipment does all of their own. They'll pull out the tank, and I don't know what happens with hydrants, monitoring. I'm not sure what that process is, but I believe gasoline equipment does themselves, pull the tank out. I can certainly contact Wygens.
Well, I didn't know whether Wygens even do this anymore or not.
And I don't know, I'd be more than happy to contact them. I can get a call to them today to find out if they do anything like this.
There must be some others around, because every time you build a gasoline station, somebody has to dig a hole and put a tank in it. But I don't know if that isn't gonna be very competitive, digging a hole. Although, when they take that tank out of there, by the way, that tank got fuel in it. You'll have to have that pumped.
Yeah, it says they'll pump it temporarily, next storage.
We have a motion and second. Any additional discussion?
I would just like to go on record as saying I agree with Jim, that if there's local companies, I think we should explore that and support those companies if they're competitive.
Any amendment to the motion, Bill?
Yeah, explore local contractors, see if our local contractor capable of doing the dirt work part of this thing.
We need a second for that amendment. Those in favor of the motion as stated signify by raising your right hand. Those opposed, the same.
Okay, thank you, I'll be back, I'll give you an update next month on.
You're always back.
He'll be back.
No, I don't like.
George, does that give us sufficient information to answer IDEM?
Yeah, we'll send a letter right away, letting them know that we've approved it through the council, and at least let them know that we're going forward on it. And we will be exploring other avenues also.
George, I'll call the contact who does our inspections, and let them know that we're moving forward with replacing the tank.
Okay, but we still need.
We'll send that in, but I'll give them a heads up that it's coming, so they're
Great.
aware.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you.
In the packet, we had two requests for transfer resolutions. One for $20 and one for $300.
These were for last year to cover up, or not to cover up, but to cover overexpended accounts, so.
Okay.
Both the same department, Warren?
No, one is Planning Department Head, and the other one is Veteran Service Officer.
I move we approve both the transfers.
I'll second. Got a motion and second. Any additional comments? Those in favor of the motion signify by your right hand. Those opposed, the same. And we need these.
This is the same.
It's on this one.
Yeah, it's the one, it's just the one that she filled out for the other one, so. It's the
This
300.
this is a different?
No, this is the one that she fills out, and then I have to do the resolution for you to sign it.
Okay, so this,
This just goes along with that.
okay, this rides along with it. Okay. George, we're down to the Commissioner's report.
And I don't have a lot. The IDEM violation and then the highway favorable pass. The only other thing I have actually is Cohasset Sewer. there's an issue out at the Quincy Sewer. One of the residents that hooked up with our sewer system that we provided out there, the people that we had hired, Crosby Excavating, had damaged one of the tiles going into, when they did the hookup, damaged one of the tiles going into the house, and causing some plumbing issues within the house. And we as commissioners told them if they could prove that it was our problem, that we'd pay for it. They proved that it was our problem. And so there's a $548.71 bill that we'd like to get approved. And then we're actually going to go back we had GAI, which is a consultant, work with this Crosby Excavating. And we're going to subrogate to them to pay. They'll be the ones that have to pay that, and Dan is working on that right now. But we're going to have to pay that bill, $548.71.
And you will present the bill at such time it's needed to be paid?
Yes.
All right.
And as far as commissioners are concerned, we did, I'll be chair again for 2017. Don Amber will be vice chair for 2017. And we made commissioner board assignments. The only thing really changing is drainage and planning is going to Tom Western, and I will be taking on community corrections. And I think that's about it.
And Jana, do you have anything?
The only thing that I have is, I presented this to the commissioners yesterday and they approved it. It's the interlocal agreement with the solid waste district. They charge $53 per household for their services. And, because we handle all their money when we collect their money and we disperse it back to them for that $53. So we have administrative costs in that we have to do, that the treasurer and I both have to do. So we're charging, and the solid waste board agreed to this, to charge, for the county to charge them $2 per household. And that's the only thing that changed in this interlocal agreement from the ones that had previously been done. So if you guys just want to approve that interlocal agreement, I got this last Thursday, that is why it was not in your packets, because I sent your packets out before I got it, so.
I move we approve that.
You have a second? Bill, second. Any additional discussion? Those in favor of the motion signify by your right hand. Those opposed, the same.
And I think just you have to sign that.
We have our minutes from our last meeting. We've had a chance to review them.
I move that we approve them as written.
I'll second that too, Al.
Have a motion and a second. Those participating in that meeting signify approval of the motion by your right hand. Those opposed, the same.
Abstain.
I'll abstain.
You would abstain, you.
George, we're not in 3A anymore, are we, or did we still are?
Yeah, but that was one of our discussions of, we're probably gonna get out of that this year. Don is on the executive committee, and there's not much going on there. And we've already got our own grant writer, and that's basically what 3A is for.
So do we need to even fill them boards or committee?
I would at this time, until we get everything taken care of.
Let's go through these board assignments on it. The first one up on the list is the Community Corrections Advisory Board. I have been a member of that, and I have no problem with still being it. Although, Thor, with your connection with Community Corrections, would you be interested in it?
Absolutely. I think I've got great knowledge on their workings and what they do out there, and my involvement for 20 years or so. So I would be interested in taking that position. if you're willing to step aside from it. I don't want to step on your toes, but I appreciate that.
And our next one is the EDC committee, and our current members are Jim Bayman, Bill Overdare, and Tom Western. And we need to replace Tom if Jim and Bill are willing to stay on that committee.
I'll stay on.
I'll stay on.
Who else would have an interest in that?
I'd be happy to
right.
step up.
The EMS Oversight Committee is now currently with Kim Wheeler. Does anybody express an interest in that? We will leave Kim on that. Our next committee board assignment is Emergency Management. Paula Reimers was on that. Do we have anybody that seeks an interest? We will take a,
I'll be glad to take that.
GIS Task Force was Tom Western.
What is the GIS task force?
I was just getting ready to ask Tom that.
That's actually changing right now. They're changing that into they have a committee that meets every week on the splits, and it's Dan and Jana, I think.
Brandon,
Yeah.
April, Kim from the assessor's office.
That's going to be a once-a-week meeting or once a month?
It is once a week, but I take minutes, so whoever's on the board, you can come occasionally, but you can always overview the minutes.
Do we even need to have that committee?
The GIS.
I mean, not the task
Oh.
force.
Well, we really have,
That's what you're calling, it's not the task force, it's your new commit, it's a new.
right, it's the parcel
Oh, okay.
committee.
Parcel committee is what,
What is
and they
it?
deal with splits and
Partial committee?
parcel,
Parcel.
yeah. What they're trying to do is take care of the situations that come up after the parcels have been split, and to make sure that, a lot of times, each department has an issue, and they're trying to get all the departments together to make sure that,
Let me ask this question. Could Jana be our representative?
you could appoint her, sure.
I mean, she's a secretary basically to the council. Could she be our representative? Then we have someone that's in contact and
Sure. As long as you appoint her.
I think that's fine, it's a good idea.
Years and years ago, when they were putting that GIS system together, and it was just kind of, and since it's got up and going, it hasn't really
Yeah,
bothered
I'm
me.
good, I'm fine,
But
yeah.
it,
I'll just give them
you know,
updates.
it was quite a deal putting that all together and getting that all set up. And that's probably been 12 or 14 years ago.
unless somebody wants it.
I think that'd be a good idea.
All right.
I think she'd do a tremendous job at that.
So by general consensus, we have Jana appointed as our representative. All right?
And I will give you updates.
All right. Joint Advisory Board,
I'll stay
Ken,
on.
if I
Jim
can,
Bayman, Kim Wheeler. Stay?
that's fine. Could you just briefly tell me what that board is, though?
Yeah.
Educate
That
me.
board meets twice a year. It'll meet probably in February, and it'll meet again maybe in June or July, right prior to budget. And there's the mayor of Columbus City's on that, a city council member's on that, and a citizen appointee from Columbus City. Then there's George, Kim, and I from the county. Basically, we have a majority, don't we?
Right.
We basically have the majority of that committee. And we would approve things like fee increases. We approve their budget, but we have, here at the county council has the ultimate decision on the budget. We kind of approve a budget for the plan commission, but, and the plan office, but this body can do whatever they want with it. I mean, that, our approval really don't mean a whole lot, really. It's just kind of a recommendation, I guess. And, but we meet just twice a year, and we always get a report on how many new permits has been issued for new buildings and new new construction and also remodeling and stuff. And when they give us that report, he's got it in a nice binder, and he'll pass one out to everybody here then too. But it's a committee that only meets twice a year.
Right, and we determine what each entity, whether it be Churubusco or South Whitley, what the city, what they pay our planning department per year.
Okay, thank you.
So on the joint advisory board, we're going to leave Jim Bayman and Kim Wheeler there. Personnel committee, currently on it is myself, Paula Reimers, and Kim Wheeler. We need to replace Paula. I would like to stay on that. Are you familiar with the personnel committee?
No, what do they do?
Pardon?
What do they do?
Personnel committee meets as called. We go through a factoring situation on employees, establishing the rate of compensation for employment. And also, we go through the employee handbook, make changes on that, and get approval from that. I've been on it, George is on it, Kim's been on it. Anything you wish to add to that, George?
We make recommendations for benefits and to the commissioners and council. If it's just a policy, then the commissioners get it, but if it has anything to do with wages, then it goes to commissioners and then council.
Isn't part of that, all employees are in a category,
Yeah.
and it determine if someone if there's a change in the job description, that might put it in a different category. Sure.
I would be interested in that one, John.
Good enough. Just some brief information on that. As we call, the meetings are generally called, and they're in the mornings about 9 a.m. on it. And the first time you go through the factoring procedures, rating a position within the county, you will kind of be, mind-boggling?
It takes about a year
To understand how
understand
that
it.
procedure process works on it, but George and I would be more than happy to sit down with you and kind of explain the ins and outs and go from there.
Great, thank you.
The next one up is a planning commission, and Paula Reimers was on that, so we need a replacement for her. Does anybody express a interest?
I'll do it.
Right?
That meeting has been canceled for this month.
Okay, we talked about Region 3A non-executive, Region 3A development, and the redevelopment commission on it. Your recommendation that we fill those positions subject to change?
I would say we really don't have to do the non-executive. I would say the development, the executive, the Bill's on probably is the one that should be filled at this time, but I wouldn't do anything with the non-executive.
Bill, are you still expressing interest in Region 3A development and the redevelopment commission?
Definitely.
All right. Anybody else? Risk management and assessment. Glenn, you've been on it in the past. What does that do?
You got me. They never called me.
Is it something we need, George?
Oh, I take
No,
that back. I take that back. We did go through with the insurance guy, and we went clear through all the buildings, took a tour, and he gave us an evaluation of what we should do or what, yeah. so-
We're looking at combining that into the safety committee,
Okay.
just one safety committee.
So we're going to take that one out?
Yes.
Senior Citizen Center. Glenn, you've been on it for quite a while.
Yeah, or that'd be a good one.
I'm already on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're the president of
If
the
we,
board.
well, if we
so-
wanted to condense it, we could, because I'm the president of that organization now. So
That works.
I don't want to cheat Glenn out of coming out there.
No,
but-
I'll still come out.
He's old enough to go out there. He can still he can go
I'll
out.
still come out.
Well, now, wait a minute. I don't know that we can do that, though, because that board requires, is a 13-member board, and there's a position on it from each township, one appointed by the council, one appointed by the mayor, and two at large. So if we condense that, that's going to short them a board member.
Yeah.
I will step up and do that if you run off of it, Glenn.
Well, see, I was appointed. out there.
Right.
You'd be appointed out there.
Well, I hold an elected position right now, though, so that would shorten them.
Okay, leave me out there then,
You're gonna stay on there?
Stay on, Glenn?
yeah.
John said he would have interest if you want to step aside.
If you want off of it, well, you're on several other committees down through here. If
You wanna do that?
I will do that. Solid Waste Board, Glenn, you're on that.
I'm fine with that.
EDC Board,
I'd be willing to step up and take that one as well, if nobody else.
okay, Chad? LEPC, Local Emergency Planning Commission.
That's still in existence?
If it is, we have not met for 2 years. On it, so. If it's still in existence, I will stay on it. EDC Commission, does John LaFever still express an interest in that?
I haven't talked to him on that, I'm not sure, but I would think that he would, he's just retired. So, but,
Okay.
He'd be a good one to leave on there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our investment board is Dave Smith, George Trump, Drew Wellborn, and Brian Moore.
Great
Stay the
board.
same. All right.
On the EDC, or the redevelopment commission, you're on there, Bill's on there.
Right.
What determines the makeup of that?
That actually should be appointed every year.
I think the council appoints one. and I think the
Commissioners.
Commissioners appoint the rest of them.
Yeah.
Well, when that thing started, it was made up solely of 3 commissioners and 2 council members.
I guess really we need to look at.
Remember that?
If we got any
Yeah, I'm
paperwork
trying to
on
think
when that
out
was.
loud.
Commission's gonna bring it to your
Well,
next meeting.
I guess,
Okay.
And talk to you guys about it.
I don't have any
So-
problem with the makeup of it.
Yeah.
But it's just another one of those boards that deals with a lot of money at a non-elected board.
Yeah.
And there's not even a majority of elected officials on there.
No.
And that's something that, I say I got no problem with the makeup of it at all,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
on it.
I think that the council appointed me and Argerbright, and the commissioners
Mike Schrader,
appoint the other 3.
yeah, and then we have one
George.
non-voting from the school.
So that's a non-voting position.
Right.
Okay, well, that's,
Yeah,
Do you have
and
permission to
that
appoint Frank?
was the legislature.
Yeah, oh,
Put
yeah.
that one on.
Well, Frank represents Churubusco.
so he's an elected official then. Okay, then there is an elected
Yeah, there is.
majority. I was thinking the school voted, see, I
Yeah,
didn't.
no, that's
No.
non-voting.
No, then it's all right.
We have the Planning Commission, council member appointed. The Joint Advisory Board, Commissioner, you have 2 appointments, is that correct?
Right.
Are those completed?
Yes.
We've gone through the council committee and board assignments on it. Any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion to approve as discussed. And let's just review them on it. Community Corrections Advisory Board is Thor Hodges. EDC Committees, Jim Bayman, Bill Overdare, and Chad Banks. EMS Oversight Committee is Kim Wheeler. Emergency Management is Glenn LaRue. GIS Task Force, we appointed as a representative Jana. Joint Advisory Board, and Jim Bayman and Kim Wheeler. Personnel Committee is myself, Thor Hodges, and Kim Wheeler. Planning Commission is Chad Banks. We have eliminated the Region 3A non-executive position. Region 3A Development is Bill Overdare. Redevelopment Commission, Bill Overdare. We eliminated the Risk Assessment Management. Senior Citizens, myself. Solid Waste Board, Glenn LaRue. EDC Board, Chad Banks. LEPC Local Emergency Planning Commission, myself. The EDC Commission's John LaFever, and our investment board is Dave Smith, George Trump, Drew Welborn, and Brian Moore.
The only question I have on it is the redevelopment commission, I'm on that because of council, and we appointed Arterbright to that. I remember, I can't remember when we did it, but does that need to be redone? I don't know that that needs to be done unless he leaves. I'm just not sure how that.
Well, I can't imagine anything would be, not have a term limit to it.
I can't either, but I don't know that there is one, Jim.
Bill, I think Nathan's gonna talk to you about that at your next meeting.
Okay.
Who appoints Mike Schrader?
Commissioners. Commissioners appointed George, Mike, and Frank, and the council appointed me and Arterbright. But on the other hand, I don't know why we did, because Arterbright and I both been on it since day one. Frank, George, and Mike's been, I'm not sure if he was one of the originals or not.
Close to it, at least.
No, the originals was 3 commissioners and 2 council members, you and I and 3 commissioners.
Yeah.
That was the original board. During the SDI thing, then
Yeah.
it changed. So it's been made up, but Algebright's was on from day one.
Yeah,
So you were too.
yeah.
We'll entertain a motion for the council committee and board assignments.
I so move.
Do you have a second? Any additional discussion? Those in favor signify by your right hand. Those opposed, the same. I welcome Chad Banks and Thor Hodges to our new council. I think you will find it very interesting, and you go from there. Anybody have anything else for the council members?
Is
Tom?
there- We don't have the appointment for the alcoholic board or anything like
That
that.
comes up later.
Yeah, that comes up later. We stand adjourned.
Sweet.